A chill morning in Mellen, Wisconsin. Quiet fields and quiet people. Yet something remarkable happened on the Mellentown Road. Something that would have seemed incredible if it hadn't happened to people as down to earth as the town of Mellen itself.
How much would you make out of last year? Maybe about 20-some bucks.
I made about $5.60.
Philip Baker works in a mill on the same job for more than 20 years. He's grown up here and passed on to his children a love for the land, a love for planting and harvesting his own crops, for cutting wood to warm the house in the long Wisconsin winters. He was an officer in his union once, but stepped down because it meant too much time away from his wife Shirley and their kids, Monty, Jeff, Jane, and John.
Lazy, good for nothing.
The most important things to the Baker family are hard work and being together. They were together the most incredible night of their lives. It was March 13, 1975.
I was carrying the 2 cats. I was walking to the garage. And I got by this corner, right by the house here. And I looked, and there was this weird object, funny noises, and it was really bright, and I didn't know what I should do. So I was going back and forth, and finally I threw the cat in the garage. And then I ran to the house around the corner, and I couldn't get the door open.
When I first saw it, I was standing approximately right here, but I couldn't get too good of a view of it because the brush and the trees are in the way. So then I went back into the house, and I got my coat on. My 2 youngest boys and Jane were following me. We went over here to get a better look at the object that was sitting on the road. And my curiosity still wanted me to get a better view of it. So we walked down. Of course, the ground was covered with snow. And my car was sitting here in the driveway. And of course, there were snowbanks on the side of the roads, and there's where I got my estimate of the size of the object, approximately 12 feet in diameter, but also with the markings in the snow. And I would judge the object at the center of it was approximately 6 feet high. It was like a turtle. My 2 boys and my girl started to proceed here closer. My girl told me not to go any closer to it. She ran back in the house.
He was going to go walking up to it, and I went back to the house and told my mom that he was going to go up there and get closer to it. And she came out and she yelled at him.
My wife came out and hollered at me and told me not to be foolish and go any closer to it, not knowing exactly what the object was on the road. And of course, I did get a very good view of it from here, as there was nothing blocking my vision on the road. Montgomery was looking out the upstairs windows where he got his view of the object.
And we went in the house and we called the deputy sheriff. And when the deputy said hello, there was a boom and it was gone. I went out and I couldn't see it anymore.
The sheriff came and he saw nothing. That can be a pretty lonely feeling, to have witnessed something incredible and be unable to produce evidence. Loneliest of all, perhaps, for the Baker children. They would want to tell their story to friends at school, but who would believe them?
Well, Monty, my oldest boy, he was all upset. He told my other 2 boys, now don't say anything. Don't say anything to kids at school. We don't want nothing of this to get out. And of course, Janie was in tears. She says, well, I know what I saw. She says, you trying to tell me I'm crazy or something? She said, I know what we saw. She says, don't try to tell me I didn't see anything, because she said, I know I saw it. And she was in tears and everything else that night. And of course, the undersheriff, I apologized when he left me off here, because I thought, well, no, we didn't find anything. He said, he'll think I'm a little off too. And he said, no, don't forget, just forget about it. I said, well, okay, let's forget about it. And I said, but don't tell anybody then. Matter of fact, I even mentioned him. I said, don't tell anybody. I said, just forget it then, because I said, let's drop the whole story.
Mellen has a newspaper, the Weekly Record. Editor Jasper Landry knows just about everybody in Mellen by first name.
I've known Mr. Baker for about 30 years, and he and his family have been here a long time. And when this story broke on the UFOs, he asked me not to put it in the paper because of the anxiety his family was being put through by callers and curiosity seekers. And so I thought that I wouldn't. And he was very appreciative. I honored his wish to not have it in the paper.
The story got around anyway. Of this country lane where the Baker family saw something big and metallic with red and green lights. Something that was gone almost as soon as it came.
My name is George Ree, Mellen, Wisconsin. I am the undersheriff of Ashland County. On this night in question, I answered a complaint of Philip Baker, and I arrived at the site and I investigated it, and I firmly believe that the Baker family did see an object.
Sheriff Ree had good reason to believe Baker's story. He may have arrived at the Baker house too late to see anything there. But when he left, a second call came to investigate reported lights in the sky. Ree and 7 deputies from 2 counties raced across country roads. Sheriff Ree would sight a bright object darting in the sky, call on his radio for another car to intercept it, and the object would dart away, sometimes to briefly join another hovering in the sky. One of Ree's deputies said the light given off by the objects was so intense he could read a newspaper by it. And when it passed over another patrol car, the police radio went dead. To this moment, no one knows what it was that George Ree and 7 county policemen chased that night in Wisconsin.